What is good, Vibe Gang? Last video of the night. I just finished cutting a cake for my daughter's 19th birthday and took some pictures, opened some gift. We had a grand old time. Now, shout out to my man George. George, shout out to you for the dono. Wanted me to do Jackie Wilson's son. So Bobby Wilson talks R&B history, Bruno Mars, and more. And that more is an Elvis story about his father and Elvis. So we're gonna watch the whole entire interview because I know Jackie Wilson, so I want to see some of the backstories in the history of Bobby Wilson because I don't know too much about his son, but I do know who Jackie Wilson is. So we're gonna get right into this one. I need to check this one out. Facts. Perico, cut the beat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Did I tell you I love Elvis? Let's go. Bobby, it is on you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to tune into LVSO Live here in Las Vegas. We've got a great show for you tonight. You're going to go behind the scenes of the Las Vegas Symphony Orchestra. We're talking to the entertainers and the folks really running things behind the scenes. Trust me, it's a show you don't want to miss. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Fabian Kay, and you're tuned into LVSO Live here in Las Vegas. And today we have a great treat for you. I'm joined by the legendary entertainer, icon, songwriter, Bobby.
I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to, from this point on, spend every waking moment trying to figure out a way in God's green earth to get my hair like my man Bobby Wilson. That's going to happen. I'm going to make this happen. It has to. That is the do of do's, ladies and gentlemen. That is a do of do's. My man shining. I mean, he looking like a action figure right now.
Joined by the legendary entertainer, icon, songwriter, Bobby Wilson. How are you doing today?
Too much.
Never too much.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, not many people...
I ain't gonna lie to you, I want that chair. I think I could do 100 reactions sitting on that comfy ass chair. I like that chair.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, not many people may know or may not know that you are the son of another icon, 1950s legendary singer, Jackie Wilson. So tell me, how did it feel growing up around so many Motown icons?
That's the catch-22. I didn't. I grew up in a foster home. Oh. My story is quite colorful. My mother gave me up very young. I was born in Westbury, Long Island, New York, and raised in South Carolina. Joined the Navy, and then when I got out of the Navy, that's when the music opened up, and I found out who I was.
And so, were you on the ship singing? And
that's crazy. That's a story, man. That is a story and a half. Can you imagine that your father is this famous artist, and you didn't know until you were already of age? And to find out that your father's Jackie Wilson, oh my God. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Opened up, and I found out who I was.
And so, were you on the ship singing and, doing
all
that?
Yeah.
Because I have to, with that voice, you didn't just one day wake up as an adult and think, hey, I want to be a singer.
Yeah, I grew up listening to all the greats. My big sister, Ann, she was 10 years older than me, and my mom bought her the first hi-fi. Now I'm dating myself. My mom bought her the first hi-fi stereo system in the neighborhood.
Jesus. This man said hi-fi stereo system. I haven't heard that in a while. Holy crap.
My mom bought her the first hi-fi stereo system in the neighborhood. And now I'm really dating my hood. We had the first color TV in our neighborhood. Actually, probably the first TV in our neighborhood. And so all the kids would come over and see.
You know what's crazy? I remember like it was yesterday, the transition of us having a black and white TV to when we got our first color TV. And I'm telling you, there was an exciting moment in my household. We held hands, we sang Kumbaya. A lot of things happened that night. We lit candles. We went to church that night. We invited the neighbors over. I don't think they invited the neighbors over. I think my mom and my dad were trying to show off that they got a color TV. I think that's what it was.
It was the first TV
Wow.
in our neighborhood. And so all the kids would come over and see, the shows. And my sister was blasting these 45s. You look very young, so I'm going to say, you don't know what a 45 is. No, you don't, do you? My sister was playing the 78s and the 45s and then the LPs, which is long play, extended long play records. And she would blast, my mom would, as a child, I had a lot of medical problems. You wouldn't know it now, but my legs, they had to break them to straighten them out, and I had rickets in the bones. I had intestinal problems, underdeveloped intestines.
They had to break his bones and his legs to straighten them out. I think my wife told me because my son has a problem with his feet, and they said that they had to. I think if they break like the bone, because he has the bone popping out from the inside of his foot, and it's like his feet are popping out. So they said they have to break that bone and then let it heal itself straight, so he'll have no issues walking. That's crazy. If the doctor tells me, Ray, we're gonna have to go ahead and we're gonna have to break your legs to straighten them out for you, I'm like, I've been walking like this for 39 years. You can keep them the way they are. I'm fine. Worst case scenario, we got technology. I got a smart car and some Bengay, and I'll be good. Don't even work.
I had rickets in the bones. I had intestinal problems, underdeveloped intestines, undeveloped lungs. So I didn't go out and play for the first 9, 10 years of my life. I sat in the house, sitting on the sofa, listening to all the music. And my sister played everything from B.B. King to Jackie Wilson to James Brown.
Sir.
I heard early James Brown when James Brown was singing.
Wow.
Not when he was not in the 70s when he's doing yeah, popcorn. No, I was there.
He did a pretty good impression of my man James Brown. Hold on, man. You'll be find out Bobby Wilson is a chameleon.
70s when he's doing yeah, popcorn. No, I was there when James was saying, "It was you made me love you."
And you really start taking, us being a singer and an entertainer seriously, right, as a profession.
Well, only because I was hanging out with the local Hawaiians. When I got out of the Navy, I was 240 pounds. I'm now 160, but at that time, I joined the Navy 135 soaking wet. I started hanging out with the Hawaiians and Samoans because I looked like I was from the islands. And they was like, "Hey, brother, come hang with us," and da-da-da. So I wound up hanging out with them and singing with them, not knowing I was hanging out with Brother Ears, the Casimir brothers, Noelani. I'm just naming some of the stars that I didn't know were stars. So I was hanging out with them, and this guy, Peter Hernandez from Brooklyn, New York, walks up to me and said, "Hey, man, I want you to be in my show." And I was like, okay, and I went and checked it out. It was a doo-wop show in Waikiki. That was my beginning, Peter Hernandez. And 7 Guys, 7 Girls, his wife, a family show. And a little kid named Bruno, who was baby Elvis. And at the time, he was like 5 or 6 years old.
Bruno.
Yeah,
this would be
Bruno Mars, that's a fact. That's a fact. Bruno Mars is amazing. I love Bruno Mars, man. I love Bruno Mars.
5 or 6 years old.
Bruno.
Yeah,
this would be
No.
Bruno Mars now, would it?
No. Yes.
Really?
And so when I joined that group, I was addicted. I mean, I knew I got to do, this is what I was meant to do. In the Navy, I was trained as an engineer. But when I got out of the Navy, actually, I was hanging around for a year because I was supposed to go work for a power company in Sumter, South Carolina. But I wound up rescinding that job and staying in Hawaii.
Wow, and it paid off.
So that was the beginning,
So how do you go from that to Jackie Wilson's my dad? And this all kind of makes a little bit more sense now. Because I like to believe that a lot of times that talent is in the genes.
Well, apparently I didn't think I could sing, growing up, because people were saying shut up a lot. Shut up! So I didn't think I could sing. However, by hanging out with Pete, and Pete telling me to follow his lead, Bruno's uncle, a guy named Johnny Valentine, became my first vocal coach. And with him and
I heard the name Johnny Valentine a lot. and throughout the years. I've heard about that guy a lot.
Named Johnny
I
Valentine.
think Johnny Valentine. I think he worked with Sinatra too, didn't he? One of the Rat Packs. He worked with one of them.
He telling me to follow his lead. Bruno's uncle, a guy named Johnny Valentine, became my first vocal coach. And with him, and then I started adding other vocal coaches. They told me, you can sing. You have a natural ability to sing. And I have a 5-octave range. And dancing was one of my first loves that I remember, because I was watching Michael so closely. I was marking him and his dance moves. I never forget, I was in the Navy, and we're getting out of a van in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, for R&R, and these kids bum rushed the van and said, "Are you Michael? You look like Michael." And I was like, I look nothing like Michael. But it was the 80s. Oh man, I'm dating myself. And the kids bum rushed, and my rest of my Navy buddies like, "Why is that happening to you?" Fast forwarding, working with little Bruno was already a star at 5. He did 2 movies with Nicolas Cage, Leaving Las Vegas and Indecent Proposal. He did a cameo in Indecent Proposal singing Can't Fall in Love.
Wow.
I Can't Fall in Love, I think that's the song, by Elvis. So he was already a little star in the islands. But that was my humble beginnings. And from there, people started shouting, you look like Jackie Wilson, you sound like Jackie Wilson. And it wasn't until I got to Atlantic City, working in Legends in Concert, the Four Tops kind of asked for my attention because I looked like their cousin. But they said it was more than the show. They basically said, well, you walk like, talk like, act like when you're off stage. They will watch me off stage. So they said, this guy's acting like Jackie 24/7. Why? So they wanted to meet me. And when I met them, I mean, they basically asked me a few questions. I confirmed, and they knew who I was. They said, "We know your dad, and we know your mother," and that was the end of it. They introduced me to the rest of the family, and I've been carrying that banter, carrying my dad's flag.
And how old were you when that happened?
Well, I like to say I was 5, but no. I was in my 30s.
Wow.
Yeah, when I found out all of that.
I understand you have some sort of a connection with another king, Elvis Presley. Is there some sort of connection there?
Well, it's more like my dad's connection.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get into the meats and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen. I love interviews. I love watching interviews because I love learning about history and learning about behind the scene things with all these artists. Now we in the meats and potatoes now, buddy.
Elvis really loved my dad, and they met first time when he was with a group called Billy Ward's Dominoes, right here in Las Vegas, 1955 or 56. And my dad was playing with the Dominoes. Elvis had just started a New Frontier Casino. He was supposed to be here 8 weeks, but he got fired after 2 weeks. and so he went out and checked out the local acts while he was, hanging out in Vegas, and he went to see Dominoes. He went 4 nights in a row because they were doing an Elvis Presley set. And my dad was doing Elvis.
Oh, wow.
And Elvis shouted, he does it better than me. Actually, it says, Elvis said he climbed under the table and yelled, "Get him off! Get him off!" And I was
he was too good.
Yeah, he was saying.
Why Elvis hating on Jackie for, man? Why is Elvis hating on Jackie? Damn, Elvis. Elvis petty, man. Get him off, man. He's doing too good of a job. Relax. I wouldn't blame you, man. If I see somebody else acting like me, I'm be like, hey. You OD. Now you over here hitting about 13 squirrels, man. I only said 10. I'll be the same way. Don't you worry about it, man.
Off. Get him off. And I was
he was too good.
Yeah, he was saying. So they didn't really make the connection then. It wasn't until later in the 60s when they were performing in California at the Shindig Show. And my dad was headlining at the Trip. This is a weird story for me. When he was headlining at the Trip, people weren't going to see him. He wasn't pulling the audience.
What?
And we thought that was kind of weird. Well, Elvis went to see him, and then according to some of the legends that's still living, like Little Anthony, and some of the coasters like Robert DeBonk and different people like that, I mean, Imperials, and the coasters that I've talked to, they said, oh, Elvis used to call us and said, I'm going to see Jackie. Let's go see Jackie. I said, wait a minute, what do you mean Elvis used to call you? He said he would call us, say, hey man, Jackie's playing at the Trip, let's go to the Trip. And I said, wow. I said, you guys were friends? He said, Elvis loved us. And B.B. King hung around Elvis and some of the great blues.
See, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Elvis, at that time frame, Elvis was considered the king of rock and roll. The king of blues. He was top notch Elvis Presley. And then the love of the music, the love that he had for the music, to be so excited to go watch somebody else perform. It shows the humbleness that this man has, man. He could be, ain't nobody better than me. And like, be able to back it up if he wanted to be that way. But the humbleness that this man had, it's amazing. We all need to learn a thing or two from Elvis Presley, man. Take your notebooks and a pen and write some of this stuff down. Repeat it to yourself every single day so you won't forget it. Elvis Presley, no matter who's talking about him, he's the freaking man.
The Trip, let's go to the Trip. And I said, wow. I said, you guys were friends? He said, Elvis loved us. And B.B. King hung around Elvis and some of the great blues artists like Muddy Waters. And all these guys were hanging with him.
I know Muddy Waters. I know.
And I was like, wow, how come that wasn't in the news at that time? Because it wasn't.
No.
Anyway, because of Elvis, he packed his shows.
Wow.
Because people hear Elvis going to see Jackie Wilson, they go see Jackie Wilson. After Elvis went one time, then
I eat. We all eat. See, people don't talk about this though. People are not talking about this though. Everybody want to talk about all the rest of the bullshit about Elvis. They don't want to talk about this type of stuff though. Come on, man. If I eat, I'm going to help you eat. Elvis knows what power. Elvis wasn't stupid. He knew what power he held. He knew that he could go inside a room and shut that room down. But he used it to go help out his fellow peers. Other artists that are not packing, like he said, not packing out shows. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to bring the crowd with me. Go ahead, man. That's what I'm talking about.
People hear Elvis going to see Jackie Wilson, they go see Jackie Wilson. After Elvis went one time, then Elvis didn't have to go anymore unless he wanted to, because they packed his show after that.
Wow.
Yeah, so they became very good friends. And then when my father...
No, why? Because people were thinking, if Elvis thinks he's good, maybe we should go check him out. And that's it. That little small gesture of him going to go watch a show could change another person's whole entire life. Come on, dog. That's what makes you a GOAT, Elvis.
Packed his show after that.
Wow.
Yeah, so they became very good friends. And then when my father got sick in '75, Elvis took care of his medical bills until he passed.
My goodness.
Even after Elvis had passed. So, and that came to me from...
Rewind that back, sir. Hold on.
Wow.
Yeah, so they became very good friends. And then when my father got sick in '75, Elvis took care of his medical bills until he passed.
My goodness.
Even after Elvis had passed. So, and
he took care of his bill before Elvis passed, and after Elvis passed, was still taking care of this man's bills. That's love, baby. That's unity. That's togetherness. That's helping another human being because of your heart. Don't tell me nothing about Elvis Presley, ladies and gentlemen. Don't. I'm not hear none of that crap.
Medical bills until he passed.
My goodness.
Even after Elvis had passed. So, and that came to me from people in Elvis camp.
And so let's talk, so you have this global symphony show that you're about to embark on. Mm-hmm. What would you say would be some other career highlights throughout the years for you?
First time I was on Apollo, Showtime at the Apollo.
Let's go. Showtime.
Was it nerve-wracking?
Yeah, it was. And I was just beginning to find out who I was. I've met the Four Tops. They told me they knew who I am.
All the greats came out of the Showtime at the Apollo. All the greats came out from there. Man, I used to love watching.
I was just beginning to find out who I was. I've met the Four Tops. They told me they knew who I am. And I walk into the Apollo backstage. They asked me to do a couple songs by my dad for the amateur hour. And I was like, I'm not an amateur. She goes, I don't care. We want you to the amateur hour show, so no problem. What stopped me was when I walked backstage and I looked on the wall, there was a huge picture that looked like me on the wall.
Well, who was it?
My dad.
Oh, wow.
But I was at the same age he was at the same, that picture.
Okay.
My face. That was one of my highlights. The first time I was on a television show where I had 50 dancers. And I was doing the song Higher, and Your Love Is Lifting Me Higher. And that blew my mind because I wasn't expected. I knew we were doing an 8-week tour, but I didn't know it started off at a television show first. So we had to fly into Amsterdam, do the television show, and then start the tour.
So I hear that we're going to get a little treat from you today, possibly sing one of the songs that you'll be performing during the show.
I will give you a little a cappella taste. How's that?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Go for it.
Your love is lifting me higher than I ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quenching my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. You know your love, it keeps on lifting higher, higher and higher. That's enough, that's enough.
Oh,
That's enough.
That's just enough to leave everyone wanting more, right?
It's much, much more.
Love that.
Much more.
Well, Mr. Wilson, thank you so much. Well, thanks for joining us today on LVSO.
Amazing. That's amazing, man. I like that story. That was a good story. Tomorrow, guys, George, thank you so much for this one. This is really dope. I learned a lot today. This is amazing. Tomorrow, I got an Elvis song coming. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for the love and support. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that. Bobby Wilson, Bobby was a good storyteller, man. I love you guys. I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow. Well, the button slipped. The button slipped. I love you guys. I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great night, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Always know Vibe loves you. And I'm out of here. Peace.